بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Next we have لام التعليل الجارة. So to understand لام التعليل الجارة, let's look at some examples. أدرس العربية, study Arabic. Imagine someone telling you that. أدرس العربية, and you say lima, right? You say why. And by the way, lima is actually lam harf jar followed by ma. So when you have lam harf jar followed by ma, it becomes lima. You delete the alif. So lima is actually lima. And sometimes they add, for mubalagha, they add lima dha to it. So they say lima. You can say lima, you can say lima dha. Dha, adding dha is not necessary unless you want to do mubalagha or quwwa. Lima dha is like saying what, why on earth? So lima is why, limadha is why on earth. You can also say lima with it's ha sakad. You can also say lim with a sukoon ending. So there's different ways depending on what you wish to communicate. So in poetry, it might be helpful to know all these different ways to say why, so you can fit the poetic meter and qafiyah if necessary. So lima, why? لفهم القرآن. So this لام التعليل الجارة is to justify, give the reason for why something is done. لفهم القرآن. So in other words, أدرس العربية لفهم القرآن. I study Arabic to understand the Quran. فهمي is اسم مجرور, it's masdar. فهم يفهم. Here's a couple of examples from the Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ورفعنا لك من أجلك. Right? التعليل من أجلك ورفعنا لك من أجلك يا محمد ذكرك. We have elevated, raised for you, O Muhammad, your remembrance. إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله. إنما نطعمكم. We only feed you. إنما has the idea of tokid and hasr. Only is the idea here, and tokid. We only feed you, surely we only feed you, liwajhillah. Limadha? Why? Liwajhillah. So there's this lam al-ta'lil al-jarra. We have lam al-ta'lil al-nasiba also, which is coming up. Inshallah, we'll talk about that later. And we'll talk about the difference between Kufis and Basris. Liwajhillahi la nuridu minkum jaza'an wala shukura. Tambih, lam al-ta'lil naw'an, as I've already explained, there are two types of lam al-ta'lil, jarra wa nasiba, عند الكوفيين, كما سيأتي. And also, there's another topic called al-maf'ul li'ajlihi or al-maf'ul lahu. Some of the ahkam of maf'ul lahu have a connection with lam al-ta'lil al-jarra. So when we study al-maf'ul lahu, we will see the same lam al-ta'lil al-jarra. So I encourage you to review the ahkam of al-maf'ul lahu. The next type of lam is az-za'ida lit-tawkid. Az-za'ida lit-tawkid. Az-za'ida lit-tawkid. It adds tawkid. Example. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. هم لِرَبِّهِمْ يَرْهَبُونَ. So if you look at this statement, this ayah, this part of an ayah, لِرَبِّهِمْ, this lam is entering upon a maf'ul bihi for additional tawkid. Okay. So what's the backstory? You can think of it this way. يَرْهَبُونَ رَبَّهُمْ. When you say يَرْهَبُونَ رَبَّهُمْ, they fear their Rabb. They have this awe-inspiring fear of the Rabb, a healthy, good fear. And you can see clearly that Rabba is maf'ul bihi. Rabba here you can see is maf'ul bihi. Then Rabba can be brought forward for hasr, meaning only Rabbahum they fear. Then to add tawkid, you add li, lam, harf jar, zaid, lit tawkid is added to create tawkid. So what we have here in this expression is we have tawkid with the lam harf jar zaid, and we have hasr because the maf'ul bihi has been brought forward, similar to iyaka na'budu. When you bring forward the maf'ul bihi, you create hasr. So you've got hasr and tokid happening here. Now, al-lam az-za'ida lit-tawkid, there's more examples and more details that can be discussed, and they're mentioned in, there's a special chapter in this textbook called ahruf al-jar az-za'ida. Let's take a quick look at it. We're not going to go through the whole thing. There are 4 ahruf al-jar that are za'ida: al-kaf, min, al-ba, and lam. Al-lam is the point of interest for us. I encourage you to read the details in this chapter. Okay? And there is a condition here or clarification here, tuzadu lamu qiyasan fil maf'ul bihi. This lam is entered upon the maf'ul bihi qiyasan, meaning you can do it to create new sentences. You can do it as you wish. It's not sama'i. And the purpose is to add tawkid. Other examples, the Quran, in kuntum lirru'ya ta'burun. You can see lirru'ya ta'burun, maf'ul bihi muqaddam. Inna rabbaka fa'alun lima yurid. Fa'alul lima. This lam here entering upon the maf'ul bihi ma. The lam here entering upon the maf'ul bihi ma. And you can see fa'al is ismul fa'il mubalaghatan, or mubalaghat ismul fa'il, and it is acting like a fi'il, shibul fi'il. So it has a maf'ul bihi which is ma. Musaddiqan lima ma'akum, again, same idea. Now, this lam harf jar is zaid, right? حرف جر زائد لا عمل لها فلا يتعلق الجار والمجرور بشيء. Okay, this lam harf jar is zaid. Okay, this لا عمل لها needs a little qualification because it does have the amal of jar. Okay, so we need to remove that statement. Let's make that correction quickly. It's harf jar zaid, so there is no تعلق لأنها عامل ضعيف. It's an عامل ضعيف because it makes the اسم مجرور لفظا لا محلا. So with that in mind, let's get back to our lesson at hand to complete the rest. Again, you can read the details, inshallah. So one important point, sort of a disclaimer, sammaha, some ulama have termed it lam al-taqwiya. There's something called lam al-taqwiya that you will come across in some of the classical books, okay? And many encyclopedic books will talk about something called lam al-taqwiya. When you see that lam al-taqwiya, it's really lam harf jar zaid lit-tawkid. One of the greatest ulama of our time, Lughawi, as-Samarra'i ankarahu. Okay, ankaraha. It's better to say ankaraha. Ankaraha as-Samarra'i. As-Samarra'i, Dr. Fadil Samarra'i. He's one of the greatest living ulama of our age today. Great Lughawi. Fadil Salih as-Samarra'i. You can watch YouTube videos. Amazing insights. He's discovered amazing new wisdoms and secrets of the Arabic language. Ankaraha. He says this is baseless. There's no point in calling it lam al-taqwiya, and you can read the discussion as to why they call it lam al-taqwiya in the mutawwalat. And finally, we have lam al-istigatha. Lam al-istigatha. Lam al-istigatha. I forgot to mention this point. Maybe I did, but let me explain a little bit. Rabbi, the word Rabbi is maf'ulun bihi majroor. It's majroor lafdhan. The word is majroor, but in reality it's mansoob because maf'ul bihi. So this is where we get multi-dimensional, multi-layered i'rab. It's majroor from one perspective and mansoob from another perspective. You can think of it this way. Majroor, outwardly it's majroor. The face value of the word is that it's majroor. But internally, inwardly, the inward idea is that it's still mansoob because maf'ul bihi. But that's mahallan. Let's look at this lam here called lam al-istigatha. Lam al-istigatha is used to appeal for help or aid. Example, Ya lallahi lil muslimin. You're appealing to Allah for the Muslimin. So there, the lam you can see is appearing twice. The lam is appearing twice. First attached to the word Allah, second attached to the word al-muslimin. And both of these are lam al-istigatha. Lam al-istigatha has to be used twice. Once maftuha, the fatha on top, and once maksura, which is the norm. So you say ya lallahi lil muslimin. Okay, so the lam you can see here has a fatha on the word lam attached to the word Allah has a fatha. You can see fatha here. Same thing here. Ya lal aqwiyai lil du'afa. Lal aqwiya. You can see the lam maftuha. Tusta'malu maftuhatan ma'al mustaghathi. Al mustaghath is the one you're seeking help, appealing to for help and aid. Wa maksuratan ma'al mustaghathi lahu. Al mustaghathi lahu, which is al muslimin, and al-du'afa are the ones that you're appealing to help for. Allah in these two examples is the al-mustaghath, the one you are seeking help from. The ya here is harfu tanbih. Some ulama consider this ya as harfu nida majazan, because you're not really doing nida haqiqi here. And in Quranic Linguistics Level 4, there's an entire chapter, the Balagha textbook, which deals with at-tanbih, attention grabbing, and there are ahruf at-tanbih, there are 4, and you can refer back to those. So these are the first 6 types of lam that are all ahruful jar. So let's go back to the big picture here. We have anwa'ul lam, we have al-jarra. We've talked about the first 6 types of al-jarra: al-istihqaq, lam al-milk, or shibhihi. You've got lam al-ta'diyah. You got lam al-ta'leel, lam of justification. Ta'leel is justification. Lam al-ta'diyah, of course, is lam of transitivity, gives you a maf'ul bihi. And you've got lam al-istihqaq, truly deserving, worthy of, rightfully. Milk, of course, is possession, or shibhul mulk is something that looks like possession. It's not true possession, it's majazan. And then you have al-lam az-za'ida lit-tawkid, lam that is extra, added on to the maf'ul bihi for tawkid. And some ulama talk about lam al-taqwiyah. However, it's been rejected by Assam al-Ra'i. Also, some ulama talk about lam al-tabyin, but in reality, to me, it looks like it's just lam al-ta'diyah. You've got lam al-istighatha, which is what we just did, ya lallahi lil muslimin. And finally, in the next lesson, we'll look at lam al-ta'ajjub, as it takes a little more detail, inshallah. So I hope you join me in the next lesson, where we'll continue our journey into lam al-ta'ajjub and then other types of lam as well, inshallah. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursaleen, Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een.